what is best in life? To crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and to hear the lamentation of your women.
All right. Apparently, I was on mute there. So you didn't hear anything that I said. It's Sunday night. It's Radio Baloney Live. It's a Sunday night live show. I'm your host, Richie Baloney. Looks like we got some people in already in the chat. Who do we got? We got JJ Nevada. We got Rumbum. We got Rosie. All right. Welcome, everybody. And that's everybody. And that's more than enough, frankly. But more will come. There will be more people. What are we going to do? We're going to talk about a bunch of stuff. Obviously, we're going to be talking about Peanut the Squirrel. And a lot of people are not mentioning Fred the Raccoon. We need to remember Fred the Raccoon as well. It's extremely important. The whole thing is actually really horrible. Really horrible. And it is just so symbolic of where leftism takes you. What it wants, the total control and the arbitrary exercise over control over your life. Let's see. Before we get into it, what are you guys saying in the chat? So JJ Nevada got the first like. That means it gets double good karma. All right. What's the holdup? Let's get the show on the road. I was 3 minutes late. 3 minutes late. I know I'm normally on time. I try to be, but I don't know. Sometimes things just happen. Somebody wake Richie up. I know. That's why I try and be on time, because you guys get pissed off. Rumbum says, must hear ad read now. I don't think I can do one right now. No, we got to wait till more people show up, but they will. They'll be here. Let's see. Ad need now, then rant. Well, I'm drinking a rant juice. I've got plenty of rant juice in me. Maybe we'll do that. Somebody's saying the U word. We don't say that on this channel anymore. You know what it does? Let's see. RRR, a.k.a. Richie Rant Rumble. Those are gold. I think I had some really classic rants in the last stream. I think I was on fire for part of that stream. Certainly the ad reads were pure gold. Rumbub says Trump with a beard would probably be legendary. I think you're right. I don't think he's going to do it, though. Let's see. Rosie says, hey, Richie, we love you. I love you guys, too. Rumbub says Trump beard AI. Maybe we'll do that. We're not doing a super long one tonight, though. Rosie says, you were on mute. I was on mute. I was, which is a terrible way to start the show, especially for people who have never seen it before. Saying ad. We don't have enough people for ads right now. Not yet. They'll come. They'll show up. They will come. But it says, poor squirrel. I know it's awful. Fred and Peanut situation is scary. A reminder of Germany 1940. Well, the thing is, it's so symbolic of where the leftist authoritarians want to go, the kind of arbitrary control they want to have over your life, to do whatever. You know, the totalitarians, you have to understand we know where that road leads. We know where totalitarianism leads. Like, we know where the censorship leads. We know where the we need to censor you to protect you. We know where all that leads. We know where, this concept of a omnipotent government leads, and bad places. I mean, we have history, right? There's history, there's books and things. Everybody's got, like, the entire accumulated knowledge of the world in their pocket. It's not hard to find out. Rumbum says, this is the only stream I've ever seen where people demand ad reads. I know. It's hilarious, right? And they also rate my rants as well. They rate the ad reads. You guys rate the ad reads and my rants, which is, again, I think that's unique to this channel. I think we've got something unique going on here. Rosie says, starting with dead air, not the goal. No, it's not. No, it is not. I thought I pressed the button, but I guess I didn't. All right. So what are we going to talk about? Obviously, we're going to talk about... this is actually really awful. Like, this is more than just... I mean, I think conservatives understand that squirrels and all other creatures, raccoons as well, they all died. This is something different, though. This is symbolic of the authoritarian state and its total disregard for your well-being. And just the arbitrary nature of this kind of leftist power, this kind of power for its own sake that the modern left seems to be craving, with this kind of, the demoralization of the West, which has been a decades-long project, first started by the Soviet Union. And it's done a lot. Then we're going to talk about the FCC commissioner says Kamala's appearance on Saturday Night Live may have violated federal airtime regulations because they're supposed to give equal time. And then they just did this at the last minute. When it's too late, you can't have Trump on now. Can't have Trump on. At the last minute, they said they weren't going to do it. Of course they did. Of course they did. Sneaky, sneaky. They may be in a bit of trouble, of course. Kamala wins. Definitely not. Probably give them all medals. We're going to watch we're going to watch it, by the way. And they stole this anyway from Trump. They stole it from Trump. Trump and Jimmy Fallon did something pretty much the same. So, but we shall see. We'll watch it. It's unbelievably cringe. Where is it? Here it is. Well, that's not it. Where was it? I've got it in here somewhere. Anyway, we'll watch it. It's unbelievably cringe. Unbelievably cringe. Let's see. It's the Trump. It's the first time we have a country where we don't even know who is running it. So we'll see. Trump is making his final points, and we were running down to the line now. It's only 2 days. It's Tuesday. It's crazy. Yeah, here's the SNL thing with Kamala Harris. It's so unbelievably cringe. It's just lots of cringe with Kamala. We'll take a look at that. We're going to try and keep this to around 2 hours. Here's Biden just being weird again. Last time he was biting babies, I think, trying to figure out how to get the adrenochrome out of them. This time it's a really weird. He wants to smack some bums, some men's bums. Really weird. The expression on his face too. Very strange. Very weird. Let's see. In Edmonton on the weekend, on Saturday, there was a UFC event, and a chant of "fuck Trudeau" broke out. The UFC event. Canada's not lost. It's not lost yet. We still got a fighting chance. And then there's a bunch of stuff in here. There's another one of these, that Dragon Age Veilguard, this game that seems to be just totally dedicated to pushing woke gender cringe propaganda. There's another one that's another clip that's come out from this, which I haven't even watched. I'll watch it with you guys, but apparently it's just as cringy as the last one, which, by the way, I cut that part of the stream on Friday into a clip, and I published that earlier today across all of my platforms. Let's see. So just a bunch of stuff here, a bunch of stuff, random stuff. Whether we will get to it all, whether we'll have time, I don't know, but we will try. And of course, if things get too heavy, maybe we'll check in on Selma Hayek. Just it's relaxing. It's water. She's swimming. She's having a nice time. She looks great for 57. I'll tell you that much. Let's take a look at the polls. So I think there's a few polls that have been dropped right at the end here to try and kind of some push polls, some stuff to kind of try and lessen Trump's advantage, or the appearance of Trump's advantage. Lessen the appearance of it, even though it does appear to be actually real. So here we have RCP. They've got Trump at a 0.1%. So that's margin of error. That's a tie at this point. It's been going, let's see, where was it? It was Trump 1, Trump 2.4. It got up to 0.3, 0.1. So it settled in at 0.1. Now it's got Rasmussen reports here at +2, but I'm certain that they're at +3 right now. So I don't know what that's about. But a tie for Kamala, a statistical tie for Kamala at this point is a disaster for her, because we know that these polls are, it's almost a certainty that the polls are biased towards Democrats, as they have been in the previous elections. Not good for her at all. Let's see, battleground, top battlegrounds. The average is, it was 1 last time I checked a little earlier today. It's 0.9 now, essentially 1. And if we take a look at the 7 battleground states, Trump has 5 of them. Again, 0.3 margin of error. You've got Nevada. I'm not sure. I think it's probably close to the margin of error. +1, Nevada. Michigan, hers too are margin of error stuff. The ones they've got her ahead. Not good, because the bias was more pronounced in the battleground states in 2020 and 2016. So these are disastrous numbers for her. If Trump takes all of these, it's over, right? All he needs, well, in fact, hold on a second. Let's pull up 270 to win. All right, reset map. Right now, they've got it. Democrats 226, Republicans 219. But all Trump needs on this map, he needs Pennsylvania, North Carolina, and Georgia. That's 270. He wins. If he just gets those 3, he wins. Right now, on the RCP average, Pennsylvania, that's margin of error, but that's actually good for Trump, considering. I mean, none of this speaks to shadow campaigns or election fortification, as they like to call it. Some people have a different name for it. Starts with a C. North Carolina at 1.5, looking very good. Georgia at 1.9. He gets those 3, it's over. I mean, there is a chance that we could know on election night. I think that's unlikely, but there's a chance. If the polls are off, and I think some of these polls are being loaded, coming right down the stretch, you know, there's a kind of I'm sure there's some kind of desperate attempts to make it feel, to keep Kamala voters from feeling demoralized at this point. You've got that Seltzer Iowa poll that somehow got her three points ahead. We'll get into that. I've got that in a tab in here somewhere. A really weird outlier. So that seems that there's some hijinks right at the end, but we shall see. We shall see. Poly market, it's gone down for Trump. He was at 66% not that long ago, a couple of days ago. Now 54.5, 45.5, still ahead. I don't think these things are, I mean, these aren't polls, but I don't think they're totally divorced from reality either. I think in terms of who's ahead, I think it's a good indicator. Again, it's not a poll. This doesn't worry me particularly. But let's all right. But in any case, a statistical tie in RCP for Trump and Harris is a disaster for Harris. Not a good sign at all. Again, though, this doesn't speak to any shadow campaigns or fortification. So it does seem that the Republicans are on top of a lot of this stuff legally right now. We'll see what happens. The problem is that when you have almost the entire media slavishly devoted to serving you, you get the sense you can get away with anything. Right? You can just do anything if you feel like the media is going to cover for you. And just kind of poo-poo any accusations, say, oh, no, that's misinformation, disinformation. So a lot of things that are real that have been called misinformation and disinformation. I think we found that out over the last few years, right? So that's the kind of scary thing, is that when you have a media and a big tech machine behind you, and a lot of partisan corruption in the judiciary as well, it makes you a little bit worried. But if we're just talking polls, this should make Kamala extremely nervous and Trump very confident. But we shall see what happens. It's not far away now, folks. All right, internet sensation. Actually, first let's get to the chat for a little bit here first. I want to take a quick peek. Oh man, there's a lot in here. Rumbum says, I really want to believe Trump's going to win it, but there is no way the Dems are not gonna and are already cheating. Well, it's beat the cheat, right? That's been the call. Spam bot fodder. Hey, how you doing? Good to see ya. I wonder if Rumble and locals will crater under the live stream load I anticipate for Tuesday evening. Interesting question, actually. They're pretty good. Like, they're on top of this stuff typically. I don't anticipate it. There will probably be some, what do you call them? What do you call them? It's the attacks that try and take down a service. Like this mass, it's what's it called? You guys help me in the chat. What is it? What do they call it? Denial of service attack. There'll probably be some stuff like that, but they've dealt with it all before. And they actually, hold on a second. I want to remember exactly what it's called. Because I'm not like a super internet guy, even though I do this. Hold on. Fact check. All right. What is a DOS attack? A denial of service attack is an attempt to overload a website or network with the aim of degrading its performance or even making it completely inaccessible. So expect some of that. But again, they've dealt with it before. They're expecting it. So I think it should be okay. Maybe there'll be some minor disruptions, but it's also going to be huge, right? I'll be live streaming it with you guys. So, and I'll only be streaming it on Rumble as well. I'm not going to even bother with YouTube because it's not worth taking the risk. Let's see. Spambot Fodder says, everyone I follow is scheduling a live stream. It might be just like me and you guys on this. We might not get any new people in, but that's all right. I don't mind. Let's see. Rumbum says, if Trump doesn't get in and also do election reform, I don't see the states having real elections anymore, assuming they still have them now. That's the question. Do they still have them now? I guess we'll find out. I think if Kamala wins and there's just some really weird stuff, like Trump gets all the bellwethers again, and then there's like drops of 500,000 in the middle of votes 100% for her in the middle of the night, and then the media and big tech all backs it and everything. It just gets behind her, and it's just at that point it's obvious that there's no real elections anymore. And I think at that point, then just every Western, like in Canada has decent, good election integrity right now. Voter ID, you got to prove that who you are. You have to show ID when you vote. There's paper ballots. I think probably all that will go. It will just be the signal for everybody just to go full totalitarian. And I think that would be the tipping point where this kind of golden age of civilization, of liberal democracy, is just gone. That'll be it. That'll just be something for the history books. Rosie says, well, if the government runs the media and the government is biased, I bet no one gets in trouble, huh? Yeah, exactly. Yep. All right, let's get to the end of these quickly. Nevada says YouTube sucks. Absolutely. All right, let's get to this. Let's get to this story, which is a really sad story. It really is. I mean, yes, I know that squirrels and raccoons die and everything dies. But this really is symbolic of what totalitarian leftism wants to do to you, right? In every way. You're not going to be left alone. You may not be interested in government. You may not be interested in politics, but government and politics is very interested in you, and they're willing to come to your home, fuck up your life, and kill your pets because they can. It's just an expression of power, an expression of just arbitrary power. They didn't have to do that. They didn't have a license for the squirrel, whatever. It lives inside the house. They were trying to, no need to go and just intrude on these people's lives and their liberties and then kill their pets. I mean, just execute their pets. That's what happened. No need for this. This is a view into what they want. But just imagine this being everything. You think they're not going to come and take away your kids? Yes, they will. They absolutely will, just because. I mean, they want to come and take away your kids already if you don't trans them. If the kindergarten teacher says your kid's born in the wrong body and you disagree, they want to come and take your kids away so they can trans them. It really is it's a horrible story. I mean, just aside from the fact that they rescued this little squirrel, its mother died, had it for 7 years. People on the internet loved it. People all over the world love their squirrel, and the government just comes in for no good reason. Just this, frankly, arbitrary exercise of power, right? Treats the people who say whose pet this was, this Mark Longo and his wife, treats them like drug dealers, and then kills their pets. Like this is a glimpse into the future, but just everything will be this arbitrary exercise of power. Internet sensation Peanut the Squirrel euthanized by New York state government. They say euthanized, I say executed, just like Trump says. 10 to 12 DEC officers raided my house as if I was a drug dealer, Peanut's owner said. Peanut, a squirrel who became a social media sensation after being rescued by a New York couple 7 years ago, was seized by New York state authorities and euthanized earlier this week. Peanut's owners, Mark and Daniela Longo, told TMZ Live on Friday that several New York Department of Environmental Conservation, DEC, conservation, I didn't think that meant executing your pets. They didn't conserve the animals. They killed them. Officers arrived with a warrant to search their home, where they confiscated the famous squirrel and a raccoon that the couple had rescued. Both animals were euthanized, according to Mark. You just think that they'd say, oh, what's their names? It's Peanut and Fred, the raccoon. They'd say, No, we can't execute these guys. We can't execute Peanut and Fred. No, they'll do it. They'll do it. If you give the government unrestrained power, they're going to do a lot worse than come and execute. And they say euthanize. I say execute. Come and execute your pets. A lot worse. And that's bad enough. Quote, it not only tears my family apart, but Peanut was the cornerstone of our nonprofit animal rescue. And 10 to 12 DEC officers raided my house as if I was a drug dealer. I sat outside my house for 5 hours. I had to get a police escort to my bathroom. I wasn't even allowed to feed my rescue horses breakfast or lunch. I sat there like a criminal after they interrogated my wife to check her immigration status. She should have just said she was in the country illegally. She crossed the Mexican border. Then she would have been fine. They would have just left then, actually. They would have given them some money and said, go about your business. Let's see. An Instagram account dedicated to Peanut has over 565,000 followers. Asked why the DEC targeted him and his wife, they said they don't have a clue. This is what you get. You vote in authoritarians. This is what you're going to get. You're going to get authoritarianism. Quote, we have no idea who made the complaints. Again, Peanut was an indoor squirrel, not harming anybody. He's been with us for 7 years. Not a single complaint was ever filed. I mean, it's so unbelievable. It's so unbelievable, so unnecessary. But again, you vote in authoritarian leftists, and it's all just going to be, they get enough power. Everything is going to be unbelievable. You're going to look at everything and go, what the hell? How does any of this make sense? And it won't. The agency reportedly said it received complaints that wildlife was potentially at risk and being kept illegally. This just seems like somebody who had a grudge against them. The Longos told TMZ that they have had Peanut for 7 years after rescuing the squirrel when its mother was killed. This sounds like it was just somebody who had a grudge against them. Wanted to fuck with them. Just some sneaky little, I don't know, probably commie, right? Who reported them to the secret police. In addition, a person involved with the investigation was bitten by the squirrel. Yeah, maybe the squirrel was scared. Were they chasing it around trying to catch it? To test for rabies, both animals were euthanized. So they had to test for rabies, so both animals were euthanized. Great. Peanut the squirrel and Fred the raccoon. It's really unbelievable. Unbelievable. Why did they do it? Because they can. That's why. Because they can. Let's take a look. Well, there's Trump. He's going to protect the squirrels for sure. But let's go up here. From the American Sun, it's fascinating that Peanut the squirrel discourse was strongly and immediately right-wing. Yes. Yes, because we recognize this as government overreach, which we're against. Leftists will just hear this and go, oh, well, there was some bylaw or something that was broken. So, you have to do what the authoritarian left-wing government, Democrat government of New York says. Of course you have to do that. You just do what they say. You don't question. Right? That's not how conservatives say. Conservatives would see this and go, yeah, this is government overreach. This is authoritarianism. This is totally unnecessary. This is get the fuck out of my business and leave me alone. That's what this is. Or the lefties, they just think, oh, yeah, it's good that they did that. Yeah, it's good. If I had a squirrel, it would be good if they came and killed it. Because, there was a bylaw or something that was broken. Government can't be wrong. Brett Weinstein. The killing of Peanut the squirrel wasn't about public health. Rather, public health has become a convenient cover for the political abuse of power. Does anyone imagine this would have happened if the owners had been partisan Democrats? What if they had been black or trans? The blue team must be removed from power if the republic is to survive. Yeah, I think he's got a real point there, right? That wouldn't have been equity, right? I guess they would call this equity. The New York Democrats, I'm sure, would call this equity. Let's continue. Look at this. I mean, it's a sad story, but some of these memes they're fantastic. That's a Trump squirrel right there. Let's take a look here. So this is Mark Longo and Peanut, or sorry, Mark Longo and hold on. All right, let's take a look at this. These are the people whose pets, their squirrel and Peanut the squirrel and Fred the raccoon were killed. Let's watch this.
We just learned that they have euthanized Peanut
and the raccoon as well.
and the raccoon as well. I am so sorry. This must be really difficult for you.
It not only tears my family apart, but Peanut was the cornerstone of our nonprofit animal rescue. And 10 to 12 DEC officers raided my house as if I was a drug dealer. I was sat outside my house for 5 hours. I had to get a police escort to my bathroom. I wasn't even allowed to feed my rescue horses breakfast or lunch. I was sat there like a criminal. After they interrogated my wife to check out her immigration status, then proceeded to ask me if I had cameras in my house, then proceeded to go through every cabinet, nook, and cranny of my house for a squirrel and a raccoon.
They got a search warrant?
They got a search warrant. 4 departments and a judge signed off on a search warrant for a squirrel and a raccoon. And then they took them and killed them.
Why did they go through all that to get a search warrant for an animal that had been with you very safely, and the world witnessed this for 7 years? Why now suddenly did they show up with a search warrant and take these animals?
We haven't a clue. We don't know who made the complaints. Again, Peanut was an indoor squirrel, not harming anybody. He's been with us for 7 years. Not a single complaint was ever filed for this animal. We had him for 7.5 years. He became the world's most famous squirrel. We weren't hiding him by any means. He was all over TikTok. He became the first squirrel on TikTok to ever hit 1 million followers. He did every news station around the world. He's helped people. He's helped kids gather joy. And then we started a nonprofit animal rescue called Peanut's Freedom Farm to help animals like Peanut fight a good fight when they're in a neglected case or they're sitting in a slaughter auction. And he was the cornerstone of our life and our organization. We used his platform to help raise money for the 300 animals we have at our sanctuary.
Got to understand, this is the ideal progressive world, right? This is the ideal progressive world where the government is in every little bit of your business, including what kind of pets you can have. They didn't have a pet grizzly in the backyard. They had an indoor squirrel and they had a raccoon, right? This is very symbolic of what they want. Very symbolic. And just the kind of, I mean, not one person in that chain there that he describes, that chain of authority, right, said, exercise the slightest bit of common sense and said, hold on a second, what? It's a squirrel and a raccoon. What? Why are we doing this? There's never been any complaints. What's the problem here? Not one person in that chain there, that chain of decision-making, of authority, just said, hold on a second, let's just be reasonable. Nobody did. This is the future that they want for you. This is the woke left. This is the progressive. This is the far left future, but it's everything. And none of it will make any sense, and it won't matter to them. Right? You know how the media right now doesn't care about the truth? They only care about narrative, about manipulating. It's like that, right? It's like that. Everything woke. Well, let me play this.
Everything woke turns to shit.
Yes, it does. And nothing will matter other than the exercise of power. Because they worship it, right? They worship it. It's disturbing as hell. This isn't just about a squirrel and a raccoon dying. This is about much more. Let's see. Now, I think even some lefties will look at this and go like, what the hell? Like, what? This is, I wonder if this will actually sway any voters on election day. I know it's not Kamala personally gave the order, but it's New York, Kathy Hochul, Deep Blue. Makes me wonder. Well, here's the squirrel. Here's a little video of hanging out with the squirrel. This is the squirrel that all those people loved that watched them on the internet.
We have a very disappointing and sad update now on the saga of Peanut, the squirrel.
You might have heard this little guy's been making headlines this week, and New York State officials now tell us the pet squirrel has been put down. Authorities seized Peanut from a home in Pine City, New York. It's a little south of Elmira. Apparently, there have been multiple complaints. Peanut's owner says the squirrel's mother was hit by a car, and he'd been taking care of the animal ever since. The owner runs an animal sanctuary and says he knows it's illegal to own a wild animal without a license, and says he was working to get Peanut certified as an educational animal. A raccoon taken during the same raid also put down. The State Department of Environmental Conservation says all this is done to test for rabies. All right, that's what Albany's focusing on.
We have a very disappointing and
Just normal people watch this and they get pissed off. They're like, gee, really? Really? This is what the government's doing. This is what they think they're there for. Regular people see this sort of thing. It's something anybody can relate to, right? You may not have a pet squirrel, but you have a lot of people have a pet. And they don't want the government coming in, government agents coming in and executing their animals and treating them like criminals. What's this? I bet he's thinking about another woman. Peanut's only crime was loving his country. Oh, that's funny. Let's see. What's this one here? Call Trump Hitler, murder Peanut. Kamala. I mean, I don't think she personally gave the order, but I don't know. I don't know. It's a beautiful AI art there. There's a million of these. A million. I love this. I love this. And you got to keep in mind, there's a lot of like progressives, the far lefties, the commies, they have no idea what they don't understand. To them, this is all totally crazy. They just don't get it. Right? For one thing, they're no fun. Right? They're totally humorless people who are afraid to make jokes because somebody somewhere might be offended. They might break their own rules somehow. There may be some new group that's protected that they didn't know about. And then if they make a joke, all of a sudden they get denounced. They have such a narrow bandwidth of what they can actually make fun of. But this is kind of also symbolic of MAGA, right? Like MAGA is fun, even with awful stories like this. Like there is this kind of positive spirit in MAGA, which is maybe why it's attracted people like Elon and RFK Jr. and Tulsi and Brett Weinstein and a lot of other people. It'll be interesting to see how off the polls are for this one. What about this one? There. Here's a statement from, can anybody in the chat confirm that this is definitely, I believe it is real. Can anybody confirm it? Statement by Donald J. Trump, 45th President of the United States of America. There have been horrible reports out of New York, my former home state, where state environmental agents raided the home of Mark Longo and his wife. Mark was taken into custody for hours while officials searched his home and eventually took two of their pets, Fred the raccoon and Peanut the squirrel. These animals were later executed by the state of New York. You just have to have no heart, right, to actually do that. You just have to have no heart. Peanut the squirrel and Fred the raccoon, I could not do that. I would lose my job. New York authorities, under their terrible governor, put more effort into finding and eliminating a squirrel who was innocent by all accounts. Oh, you gotta love Trump. who was innocent by all accounts, than they do to control the unchecked illegal immigrants who have flooded into their state. Yeah. Under progressivism, under wokeism, nothing will make sense, right? It's all just about ideology and just the power of the state and arbitrary abuse of power. If Peanut could have told them that he was from Mexico, they would have sent him on his way and given him a hotel room and a $500 gift card to Buddy Squirrel. Oh, come on. This is classic Trump. Instead, he was taken from his family. Very sad and a complete waste of resources. When we win, we will get our priorities in order and make America great again. That's really classic Trump right there. Classic Trump. But yeah, I mean, like it really is true, right? Like they're not at all concerned about flooding their state with illegal immigrants, but a squirrel, that is more of a priority for Kathy Hochul, for any of the Democrats in New York City, than the most obvious, the elephant in the room, the $1 million elephant in the room, which is illegal immigration. Tell ya, this is a view into the future. Oh, okay, here we go. This wasn't there before. This is not true. Trump's campaign confirms the statement is fake. I thought so. Did anybody tell me in there? No, not real, Rosie says. Not real. See, it would be classic Trump, though. It would be. I wish it was real. I wish it was real. I would love it if it was real. Oh, well. I still like it. Justice for... And you know what? It's all true as well. It's all true. Justice for Peanut and Fred. Who would have the heart to do that? Vote Trump, save the squirrels. This is a great one here. Love it very much. All right. Trump hasn't released any such statement about Peanut the squirrel. Well, I hope he talked about it at his rallies at least today. From Gays for Trump, let me get this straight. The most pressing problem in New York was Peanut the squirrel and Fred the raccoon. Courts will issue a search warrant to enter home and kill people's legal pets, but we cannot deport illegal alien criminals. Doesn't make any sense, but this is progressivism. This is equity and all of DEI and all of that. This is modern leftism. Squirrel lives matter. It's true. There's Trump. I'm certain this is real. Sure, the statement from Trump wasn't, but I'm certain this is real. It has to be. I mean, I just, this is going to enrage people. There are going to be some people that were on the fence who are going to change their mind after seeing this. They're going to be like, no, not having that. There's Harambe and the squirrel in heaven. Let's see. What is this? You sleeping. This is a brain trying to. Peanut the squirrel was investigated more than any single Epstein client. True. Rosie says squirrel lives matter. Elon Musk says government overreach kidnapped an orphan squirrel and executed him. Catherine Boyle says this is going to decide the election, isn't it? Yeah. Orphan squirrel who became social media star was euthanized after being seized from home by Democrats. Again, did Kamala give the order? I don't know, but I wouldn't doubt it. Government overreach kidnapped an orphan squirrel and executed him. Yes, this never should have happened. Like, this is bigger than just this story, right? This speaks to the dangers of authoritarianism, of government overreach, government getting too big, government getting too into your business, government worried about too much about what's happening in your house. Let's see. Government, illegal migrants, pet squirrels. Government, yeah, very concerned about it. Elon Musk says the government should leave people and their animals alone. I could not agree more. Why do they need to be involved? I mean, look, I get it if it's like a grizzly. If you've got a grizzly in your backyard, okay, that's a danger. A squirrel isn't a danger. A house squirrel isn't a danger. Lives in your house. It's an indoor squirrel. That's not a danger. At that point, just common sense needs to prevail. No, we don't need to do this. It's fine. It's a famous squirrel. You can see it on the internet. Hundreds of thousands of people love the squirrel. Maybe we shouldn't go and execute it. Peanut the Squirrel. I have information that could lead to the arrest and imprisonment of Hillary Clinton. Maybe. Elon Musk, if you strike me down, I will become more powerful than you could possibly imagine. Obi Peanut Kenobi. Aw. I want the squirrels to get their revenge. We're not the only ones who know what you did. Uh-oh, John Wick now. Good thing that wasn't John Wick's squirrel. So there you have it. There you have it. With a fake letter from Trump, which is perfect. Is a perfect letter. It's a perfect letter. It should be from Trump. I would have written it. Everybody's saying it's perfect. I think it is perfect, but it's not really Trump, but it's still perfect. So I'm going to print it out and frame it and stick it on my wall because I love it. And the government, if you give it enough power, it will come and murder your pets. Also a lot more. I mean, again, like we do have like history, like history, to look at, like history books, and you can learn about it. You can find out like everything you need to know. All of history is on your phone. This is all you need to do is look. Like we got plenty. Just we are overwhelmed with examples of what happens when government gets too much power. When government becomes a little too interested in you and can do something about it. All right, let's get into let's get back into the chat for a minute here. And you guys were warning me that wasn't real. Yeah. That's okay. It happens occasionally. I did kind of check to see if there were any warnings about it earlier, and I didn't, but that was hours ago, so it happens. JJ Nevada says, defeat the commie scumbags. I'm all for that. Let's see. Rosie says, great one of Trump with the squirrel. Rosie says, squirrel lives matter. Meduska, good to see you in the chat. Let's see. Now we know for sure that dogs, cats, squirrels, and raccoons need Trump. They do desperately. Hey, we got Anti-Pop in the chat. Good to see you. He's saying Camellia saw some kid celebrating a birthday party with balloons, and she did something that I would never do. What did she do? Birthday party with balloons? Did she go and pop all the balloons? Sort of think she would do, I think. Anti-Pop says pop them. Yeah. That's exactly what a dirty, filthy commie would do. Nevada says Peanut committed suicide. That's probably what they'll tell us. Yeah. Let's see. Rumbum says history is racist radio. The sensitivity readers have to fix it first, then you may read it and learn nothing. Yeah, there's already an attempt to rewrite history. I mean, take a look at Wikipedia. Let's see. LOL Medusa. LOL is pronounced Medusa. She was my Roddy, recently passed. I am Carrie. Okay, it's good to see you. I'm sorry for pronouncing that. But it looks like Meduska. But Medusa. I don't know. This is getting way too hard. But anyway, I'll try. Let's see. Spambot Fodder says the judge that signed the warrant will likely get reelected in that county. Yep. Vada says, don't forget the geese and ducks. I know. All right. So that's it. It's a really sad story, but it's also instructive. Like, it's like a warning. It's a warning. Like, people will just follow orders. If they have terrible orders, there are people that will just follow them. Like, we know this. Like, we have history to look back on and to learn from, right? Don't elect authoritarians, totalitarians. People, again, you may not be interested in politics, but politics is very interested in you. You don't want to elect people that are going to be a little too interested in you and what you're doing and what's happening inside your own home. It's a warning. Anyway, let's see. So, FCC commissioner says that Kamala's appearance on SNL may have violated federal airtime regulation. Well, let's watch this. It is genuinely unbelievably cringe. It's shockingly cringe. Oh, all right. Let's try and watch it. It's 2 minutes long. It's going to be tough to get through it, but we have to try.
Gosh, I wish I could talk to someone who's been in my shoes, you know? A black South Asian woman running for president, preferably from the Bay Area.
You and me both, sister.
It is nice to see you, Kamala.
It is nice to see you, Kamala. And I'm just here to remind you, you got this. Because you can do something your opponent cannot do. You can open doors.
I see what you did there, like to a garbage truck, right?
Oh my God. It's pathetic. That's the best they can do. That's the best they can do. Oh, really? That's rough. That's rough. I think they need to hire new writers.
I don't really laugh like that, do I?
A little bit. Now, Kamala, take my Pamela. The American people want to stop the chaos
And end the drama.
with a cool new stepmama.
End the drama. So end the drama. Like, what kind of drama? Like, my opponent is Hitler. He's a fascist. Everything he does is a fascist. Let's see. He's going to deport gay people or something, or put them into camps. And it kind of feels like there's a lot of drama. All the drama originates from her and her team. All of it. The lawfare, the ridiculous lawfare, the political persecution, all of it. Throwing people in prison. It's all them. They create the drama, and then they blame it on Trump. It's quite amazing. Let's continue.
Back in our pajamas and watch a rom Kamala.
Like Legally Blondula.
And start decorating for Christmas. Fa la 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 la. Because what do we always say? Keep Kamala and carry on a la. We know each other so well, we even finish each other's belief in the promise of America.
Jesus.
Holy Jesus. What is that? What the fuck is that?
That's cringe. That is straight up cringe. Unbelievable cringe. I can't believe they thought this was going to help. I mean, like, the best that she could do at this point, when nobody takes her seriously, is to try and appear presidential. She doesn't achieve that here at all. It's just unfunny, and cringe. That's it. It's like some woke video game company created her character. She's a character in some woke video game or something. Holy crap. That's bad. What are you guys saying? This is so cringy from Spambot. Medusa, exactly. That was horrible. So cringy. Yeah, not good. Not good. We're gonna need Rosie's asking for a palate cleanser. We will in a minute, but let's first get to, what are they saying underneath here? SNL could have leveraged this wild election coverage from the past 2 weeks for a comedic, nonpartisan opening sketch this evening. Instead, they chose to fluff their preferred candidate with a cringy and awkward scripted sketch. SNL rolled out Joe Biden again, but failed to address his garbage comment. Seriously, come on, you have to put that in the script. That was one of the biggest stories of the week. So SNL is officially no longer political satire, but political propaganda. It has been ever since Trump. Trump destroyed SNL.
Gosh,
as he has destroyed so many leftists. Now, what's going on here? So FCC commissioner says Kamala's appearance on SNL may have violated federal airtime regulation. FCC Commissioner Brendan Carr has raised concerns that Vice President Kamala Harris's appearance on Saturday Night Live over the weekend may have violated federal airtime regulations. Carr argued that Harris's participation could have breached the Federal Communication Commission's equal time rule, which mandates that public broadcast organizations provide comparable airtime to political candidates during an election period. Carr suggested that NBC may have violated this rule if it did not extend an invitation to former President Donald Trump or other candidates. I don't know if they extended an invitation. Maybe they did. Quote, this is a clear and blatant effort to evade the FCC's equal time rule. Carr posted on X. The purpose of the rule is to avoid exactly this type of biased and partisan conduct. A licensed broadcaster using the public airwaves to exert its influence for one candidate on the eve of an election, unless the broadcaster offered equal time to other qualifying campaigns. So did they offer? I don't know. I think they would not be concerned about breaking rules because of the partisan nature of the application of law over the last 4 years. So I don't think they'd be worried even if they didn't. Maybe they did. Maybe we'll find out. It feels kind of sneaky, though, like they just snuck something in right at the last minute. Here we go. Fox News reported that Trump campaign senior advisor Jason Miller confirmed the former president did not receive an invitation to appear on SNL. Additionally, NBC News noted that an SNL spokesperson did not respond to a request for comment on whether Trump had been invited to participate. So it looks like he wasn't. They just snuck something in, and why wouldn't they? I mean, again, they've gotten so used to the partisan application of law over the last 4 years that why would they even be worried? Now, on top of all of this, they copied Trump. So she's stolen Trump's policies, like no taxes on tips. She can't stop stealing his policies, and she even steals his sketches. Harris's SNL segment also drew criticism from online users who pointed out comparisons to a 2015 skit featuring Trump and Jimmy Fallon, in which Trump engaged in a comedic dialogue with Fallon impersonating him in a similar fashion. She can't stop stealing from Trump.
I'm about to go out for my interview with Jimmy Fallon. I'll call you back after I comb my hair. Talk to you in 3 hours. Wow, I look fantastic.
No, we look fantastic, and I mean really fantastic.
All right, me, we've got a big interview with Jimmy Fallon coming up. But let's be honest, Fallon's a lightweight. No way he deserves to interview me. The only one qualified to interview me is me.
This is actually funny, right? And it's a bit self-deprecating, which the Kamala one wasn't really. I mean, I guess the thing about her laugh, this is actually amusing.
Me interviewing me, that's what I call a great idea.
Of course it's a great idea. We thought of it. Okay, interview time. Question 1. Are you ready for the Republican debate next week?
You know, the truth is, I'm always ready. It's really going to be a big debate, but I'm always ready.
It's not just big, it's huge! Huge! Next question. How are you going to create jobs in this country?
I'm just going to do it.
Right. But how?
By doing it. It just happens. Just by doing it.
Genius! You and therefore me are geniuses. Next question. You said that you get Mexico to build a wall at the border. How do you plan to do that?
Well, since I'm you, why don't you tell me?
How am I going to get Mexico to build a wall? Easy. I'll challenge them to the biggest game of Jenga ever. I'll make them set up the board. And then when they finish, I'll say, I don't want to play anymore.
You want to know something? That's genius.
I knew it was.
See, this is actually better. This is better because it's actually like just playing on his persona, like gently making fun of his persona, you know, and his self-confidence, right? And it works better. But in any case, yeah. So Kamala couldn't even keep herself from stealing Trump's sketches when she went on Saturday Night Live. She steals his policies, and now she's stealing his sketches from the past, from 10 years ago. Embarrassing, frankly. Deeply embarrassing. So there we have it. But maybe SNL is in a bit of trouble. I mean, who knows? Trump's campaign says that they were not offered equal time. If Kamala wins, obviously nothing will happen. And even if Trump wins, then you still have to deal with the kind of deep state bureaucracies that exist. And they've shown that they're very resistant to, well, doing what Trump wants, doing what the president wants, if it's Trump. But we shall see, I suppose. All right. I think at this point, I think we're going to shut down the YouTube part of this for censorship reasons, because they're very censorious on YouTube. So, but we will continue on for probably another hour on Rumble. So anybody who's on YouTube right now, come join us on Rumble. See you there. There we go. That beautiful feeling of freedom.